Hey guys, and welcome to another lore video. Today I wanted to focus on what happened to Cere after Jedi Survivor. Now we all know what actually happened to Cere throughout the storyline, but the question around what happened to Cere at the end of the game is a completely different story. We're going to be delving deeper into that story today, discussing how Cere is still around after her unfortunate passing after the battle with Darth Vader, and the huge role that she could still play going forward in the next game. Leave a like if you want to enjoy these type of videos. Why not consider subscribing to the channel as well for plenty more content coming just like this one. But without further ado, let's dive straight in. So let's begin with just explaining and discussing what's happening here. Cere is of course dead, and at the end of the game we can see her body being burnt. However, she's still in Cal's mind, communicating with him every now and then. When Cal is standing over the bodies, Cere is in the background in full form as what it looks like, speaking to Cal, telling him to steer Cere away from the darkness as and when she grows up and as and when she needs to. But she's in her full bodily form, and as Cal walks away, Cere's body fades away also. What this looks like it is to me is a Force ghost. Now, what is a Force ghost? A Force ghost was the soul and the essence of a deceased Force-sensitive being who denied the will of the Force upon death, yet was able to interact with the living. It also described those who had come to terms with death and invoked this technique to preserve their identity, manipulating their own conscious thoughts to guard against being absorbed into the Force in a way that would result them to lose their identity. Some Sith Lords learned similar techniques, which in some cases were combined with the art of essence transfer, which basically allows someone from the dark side to transfer their soul into a different person's body, and thus allowed them to physically interact with their environment. This ability also allowed the Force user to interact with both living beings and the Force ghosts. This of course explains why Cal could hear Cere telling him to put the Mantis into hyperspace, and the ability to speak with him around Cere. Here's a quote from one of the movies to give you a little bit more context here. This one was the ghost of Aidan Bok to Tash Aranda. I was able to touch you because we are connected by the Force. I drew on your link with the Force to become more solid, just as I draw on it now to become visible to you. Now, this is exactly what we see here when Cal is holding Cere in his arms. The screen goes black and white, and from that point onwards, Cere is grabbing onto the link with the Force that Cal has. That allows her to become more solid and allows her to become visible, as we've seen at the end of the game. While most Jedi would lose their bodily envelope and become one with the totality of the Force upon their death, some had learned a technique allowing them to retain their own identities separate from the Force for a time. Those individuals could linger in the physical world in the form of Force spirits, non-physical entities that exhibited most traits and abilities they had in their life. This ability did not have to be learned and could be achieved through denying the will of the Force upon death, or committing a selfless act of sacrifice. Now this is pretty much exactly what Cere did here. She died on the back of a selfless act, one that was aimed at saving the Archive to allow their Jedis to live on in the mind of the new and upcoming soldiers, protecting the hidden path and the people on Jedha from the Inquisitors as they raided and keeping them safe from the Imperial Army. Cere died for everyone around her, and Vader was the last step in doing that. So Cere could rather be a Force ghost or a Force spirit. Let me know what you think down below. This boss fight, by the way, was absolutely fantastic, and when Darth Vader was introduced into the game through the slow opening door, I was screaming at my TV. However, the version of the game that I was playing on looked absolutely stunning. That's because I was playing on a PC made by Apex Gaming PCs. We've partnered together to make a line of 3 PCs, one mid-tier build, the Specialist rig, and 2 higher-end builds, the Elite rig and the Giga rig, all with performance and graphical fidelity in mind, and giving you the best experience when playing through your story-based games. All of my links are below in the description to go over and have a look and see what PC suits you best, and you can even specify it to your own needs. If you use code Wizzo at checkout as well, you can save upwards of $250 off your entire order, and trust me, it really helps out. Go check it out, and thank you. In its normal state, a Force ghost could only interact with the non-corporeal entities with no material bodies or form. In order to be heard or seen by the living, the spirit had to manifest itself. On a basic level, a Force ghost could appear as a floating, milky grey mass that lacked distinctive features. But it could also manifest itself as the exact image of the dead being during their lifetime, only transparent and emitting a bluish glow. While it could appear to anyone it wished, the spirit couldn't choose to become audible or visible to only some beings and not others, since the ability to perceive the manifestation depends on the beholder's strength in the Force. Whilst many Force ghosts could appear as a vision of their own former selves unmarked by injury or disease, others still bore the marks of what killed them. The ghost of Aidan Bock, for example, wore tattered robes and had a gaping wound in his body, marks that were left by a lightsaber. Sometimes a particular Force ghost would bind itself to a Force-sensitive guardian spirit, for the purpose of providing wisdom, continuing training, and offering aid. So this would explain personally why and how Cere is still in the game in some capacity. But the real question is, why would Respawn kill off a character such as Cere, only to bring her back as a ghost? Well, let's talk about exactly that. So we've spoken about this a few times before in videos around the importance of Cere in Jedi Survivor and also in Fallen Order. Her mother figure role to Cal, teaching him the ways of the old ones. However, when Cere died, Cal thought that he'd be alone and it was his time to take the place of Cere and act as that authoritative figure. Cere can't be there to help steer Kata into the right path, and Cal as well for that fact. However, due to the way that she died, sacrificing herself in a selfless act, she's now able to utilise the Force as a ghost or a spirit, and still offer Cal guidance as to where it is needed. Look, we know that Cal is a loose cannon, when he was about to kill Denvik in a reaction to Cere's death, and probably would have done it earlier to Denvik in his office as well. But I think Cere knew this when she died, laying there with Cal, holding her in his arms. And this is where Cere harnessed the power of the Force from Cal, which allowed her to become this Force ghost or Force spirit. For me, Cere will continue to appear this way going into the next game, and this will start to allow her to guide Cal like she would if she was actually still alive. Cal will guide Kata and steer her away from the darkness if it ever gets to that point, but Cere will be there just talking in Cal's ear, giving a helping hand along the way. And maybe Cal could be on the verge of joining as well if anything happens to Marin, Kata, anyone else that he loves, or even Grease. So maybe she's also going to be there to try and still steer Cal away in the event of when it's needed. In the next Jedi game, Cere I think will be an absolutely integral part to the storyline. Kata will also be really critical to the story, and a relationship with Cal will probably be tested at times as well. But ultimately, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. But guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. All the links to Apex Gaming PCs and everything is in the description down below as well. So go check it out. They've got some really good deals on the website actually. So I've, yeah, definitely do recommend it. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you think Cere is going to be a Force ghost? Do you think she'll be a Force spirit? What do you think is happening and why can we see Cere? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. But leave a like if you have enjoyed today's video, everyone. Subscribe if you guys are brand new to the channel as well for plenty more content coming. And we'll see you all next time.